We've been traveling for 3 or 4 days, halfway around the globe, with several hundred pounds of equipment and a team of 14 people, a multitude of partners spread over the entire region to bring you the most spectacular natural event witnessed by humankind. You're watching Slooh, and you're joining us to watch a total eclipse of the sun live from Indonesia. We are, about 5-6 minutes away from what's called first contact. What is it? What is first contact?
Well, I would say normally first contact is when the sun has its edge first touched and kissed by the encroaching moon. It's the first sign visually that something is really happening. But in this particular case, I'd say something bizarre is interfering with first contact, and that is the fact that the sky behind you looks so clear. Normally, we have to worry about whether the sky will be clear enough for the eclipse. This looks supernaturally beautiful. And by the way, I see first contact. You can see
We've got first
the
contact.
sun now being touched.
Sorry, I'm just going to adjust the telescope a bit because we're just losing the sun. Oh, this is starting to look ridiculously good. This is looking absolutely gorgeous.
Now, actually, that's a great place to leave this because I've just heard from our studio that Professor Lucy Green is available. And Paul is going to talk to her about the just amazing things that you're able to learn about the sun by watching solar eclipses and by looking through telescopes at the sun with special filters.
Why have total solar eclipses been so important for solar studies for solar scientists?
Yeah, it's a really good question because you think, well, we get to see the sun all the time, so why can't we just do our studies during normal days?
Yes.
But actually, during a total solar eclipse, because you get this rare opportunity, or well, indeed, it used to be a rare opportunity. Now we can recreate it with modern space telescopes to see the atmosphere of the sun. So we're so dazzled by the light coming from the photosphere that we don't get the opportunity to distinguish light that tells us about the sun's atmosphere. So we get to see about the visible surface of the sun, but not the atmosphere. And that's what we need the solar eclipses for. And I was interested when you were talking earlier about the fact that it was only fairly recently that we realized that this glow around the moon that you see during the total phase is actually coming or revealing to us that the sun has this extended atmosphere. And it was interesting that great astronomers like Kepler in the 15 and 1600s and even Edmund Halley into the 1700s, they weren't sure if that glow around the moon's disk was for the sun, or was it from the Earth's atmosphere, or was it even the atmosphere of the moon? And so it was only really coming into the 1800s that we started to realize, that's something that's associated with the sun.
So, Lucy, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you. Enjoy the eclipse.
Hi everyone, I'm Eric Edelman from Down to Earth, and I'm here to bring this eclipse a little bit more down to earth. Not literally, of course, but isn't there something magnetic about an eclipse like this? Our sun is such a constant in our sky. We don't actually look at it unless achieving blindness is on the bucket list, but evidence of it being up there is everywhere in our lives. Even at night, we see the moon because it is reflecting light from the sun back at us. Then, all of a sudden, for a few minutes on a very specific day on a small chunk of the Earth, everything changes. The light vanishes, and the sun is gone. We know why it happens. We know this is the moon passing in front of the sun. We've seen the man behind the curtain. We can even predict these eclipses years and years and years in advance now. We've got them, as they say, in the bag. Even so, they are still absolutely magical to witness. Talk to anybody who has seen a total solar eclipse, and they will tell you, and they will keep telling you, and keep telling you.
I am going to pull back in Bob Berman, Slooh astronomer Bob Berman, into the show.
I'm going to stop speaking at totality or around that same time, but in the couple of minutes left, suffice to say, we have a combination plate. It's a magical marriage of science and I won't call it philosophy. Let's call it something closer to and take this in the right term, please. Holiness, sacredness. This is a sacred experience because it's one thing to know that the moon is going around Earth. We all know that. We all know that. but it's another thing to look up in the sky and see the actual tick-tock clockwork motion of the solar system as it affects us. Now, in these final 2 minutes, Paul, since you've been clouded out of a couple of eclipses, one thing to look for, and if you're in a place that you can see it as a deep partial eclipse, look at the light on the earth below. Sure, everybody's staring at the sun, but just for the moment, don't look at the sun. Of course, you're staring at the sun with eye protection, but I mean,
Bob.
don't
No,
look toward the sun. Look around you. Look at
I
the
was doing
tables, look at the
I was
shadows,
doing just
look
that.
at any buildings, and you'll see that in these final 1.5 minutes before totality, the nature of sunlight changes dramatically. It gets more saturated, the colors get deeper, the edges of shadows, instead of having the blurriness that shadows always have because they're being cast by a 1/2 degree light source, instead, the edges of shadows become sharper and sharper and sharper.
Bob, I have to stop you
Yes.
there because we are now seeing the diamond ring. It's extraordinary on our live video stream, and what Bob was talking about, there's this steely blue darkness that's around us. It's incredible. Wow.
And look at
And
the
I've just seen
shadows. Look
Venus.
at the remaining.
Venus,
Look at the
Venus,
remaining light before it's gone.
Venus has.
Look at the remaining sunlight on all earthly objects, and that remaining sunlight is a thing unto itself. That would disappear. Also, there you go.
Bob, we are at totality. Listen, I'm going to take over here, Bob. Venus is shining brightly. We've got totality here. It looks absolutely extraordinary. I can even see Mercury now. I can see Mercury between Venus and the sun and moon, and there we sit. Now, I can't see with my eyes any prominences. I can't. Yes, I think I can now, Bob, see some corona. It's really difficult to take out. We have got perfect conditions here. Look at this live video that we've got. You're seeing it live on your screens. It is absolutely remarkable. I can't. Wow, it's getting darker and darker now. I mean, you can see the scene behind me. Everybody is having great fun. Hold on one second.
I need your help. I need you to do this. Hi everybody, this is Trisha. I'm taking over. Actually, I think I might have actually gotten the thing that I was trying to do. I was having a panic attack. This is incredible. This
Wow,
is absolutely incredible.
we've got the money shot. It is the most extraordinary sight here. You know, even on screen, I mean, it looks stunning, but I can't
And if you've
describe
got
to
a
you
pair
how.
of binoculars, just for a few seconds, grab those binoculars and look at the sun. Quite safe to do. Do yourself a favor and just have one shot with a little extra magnification there, and see what you see. Oh, I see.
Well, actually, Bob, I can now see prominences. They are
Yes.
beautiful. Wow.
Yes, beautiful pink
Oh,
prominence.
that is
Beautiful.
wonderful. Look at that. And there, is this a diamond ring starting again? Wow, that is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Wow.
Glasses, please. Now, glasses.
Wow. Trish, what do you make of that?
Well, it actually is extremely incredible. I don't know if I'm breathless because of the eclipse, which was so beautiful, or because I'm trying to make sure that our folks watching at home are able to take photos of the diamond ring. Of course, I'm staring at the sun now as the moon is starting to move away, and I'm going blind doing it. It's absolutely incredible. I'm so glad we were able to get great photos in our StarShare camera. If you are on Slooh.com, there should be a great photo for you to share. Share it on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Download it to your phone. I'm going to hand this back to Paul so I don't start yelling.
Shadow
Bob,
bands.
it's
You
this
might see
steely.
shadow bands.
Yeah, it's this steely grey that it's a colour. It's a hue that I couldn't describe properly, but the best I can do is kind of a steely blue.
Right.
Yeah,
What it's
absolutely.
like, it's as if Earth is being illuminated by a different kind of star.
Bob, I am so glad that you were able to join us for this total solar eclipse of the sun from
Oh, I'm so
Indonesia.
glad.
Frankly, wonderful.
That's from our Star Trek camera.
That is one of the best eclipse images I've ever seen, and that was from our Starshare camera. Thank you very much, Trish.